What's going on, everybody? Jimmo back, and today we're going to be making some custom Fortnite controllers. So I painted quite a few different controllers in the past, and I don't want to get carried away with the prep, but I'm going to give you a quick run through on what we had to do here. So we of course disassembled these PS4 controllers. It was pretty straightforward, a couple of screws, and it came apart. A couple little clips here and there. Nothing crazy, lots of good videos you can check out to do that. So what we have here is a raw plastic. I've covered this in quite a few videos. I'll have more links in the description if you want information on that. So basically, we've scuffed it with a sanding paste to clean it. We've cleaned it with a plastic cleaner to remove any mold release agents that are present from manufacturing. Then a plastic primer, and now we're going to put on some silver base coat. So I've done this a few different ways here. Each controller is going to be a different theme. I'll show the other one in a different video because I applied things a little bit differently. This one was a bit of a learning process for transferring some different decals and whatnot, so we'll talk about that when the time comes. So we've got two different silvers going down. You can see this one here is quite a bit coarser. It's got a lot of Starflake metallic, a big Starflake, a coarse one that's going to reflect a lot better when we put our candy colors over top of it. So you'll notice I'm doing a combination of aerosol and paint gun application. Now, the aerosols were more just to show you can use them in place if you prefer, if you don't have access to a big elaborate paint setup like I do. And when it comes to the clear coat, you want to try and use a two-part aerosol with the button on the bottom that puts the hardener in. I'll have links to all that kind of stuff in the description below, so you can check that out if you want to see it. But from a costing perspective, and since I have access to all this stuff working in a body shop, it made more sense to try and just use the spray gun stuff whenever possible. So there's a two-part rapid aerosol clear coat going on from SprayMax, and that's going to dry pretty quick. So we're going to clear over this. If this was all solvent-based product, we could maybe even skip this step and just clear it after the decals have been applied and the colors over top of the silver. But we're going to lock in that freshness with some clear here and then jump into some airbrush here. So the request that I got was that we wanted a rainbow colored, rainbow themed Fortnite controller. So I'm basically just gonna fire a bunch of different paints into the airbrush and fade them into each other and see what we end up with. So we're gonna start with the blue here and then gradually add in some other ones. Now, this is not generally my favorite paint to use, the Testors. It's okay, it got the job done pretty well. There's some other ones that I like more than that, but this is what we had, and in a pinch it's going to work pretty cool. So we're going to just blow some color through each time and flush out the airbrush until we get the colors we want. So we're going to get a little green on there, and each coat it's going to make it a little darker. So if we go over it a few times, then we'll end up with a different looking color. So another thing just to keep in mind is that this is very transparent. So if you put on too much, then you're not going to see the metallics reflect through, and that's kind of what we want. It gives it that high sparkle look. So we would lose that if we got too crazy with the paint at this stage. And the last thing that we are going to do, since we're going to be applying some decals, and the only way they're going to really show up is if they're on a bright background. So I actually experimented a little bit with these on different silvers and colors, and you only really see them if you have the white, kind of like they're on a sheet of paper. So they've been printed off. I just photoshopped some stuff up quick and actually ended up printing these onto some clear address sheets. So they're designed as labels for shipping labels that would be clear, and yeah, that's what we did. So I kind of knew from the beginning this wasn't the best way to do it, but I thought let's just see what I can come up with given the materials that are pretty close by. So I ended up on a future controller, which I'll show you here in a sec, the Rick and Morty one. I used a water slide paper, which proved to be quite a bit more effective. It left a lot less of an edge to have to deal with, and it was just a lot simpler to apply. So it wasn't as stiff, obviously, because the water would make it easier to apply over contours. But anyway, this is I can show you what's available here with custom. Again, there's not really too many rules to follow. We just want something that looks cool by any means necessary. So here we've got everything laid out. Now we're going to apply the little stickers here of our Fortnite guy on the left side And being a sticker that we're applying like this, it's you have to just be careful how you put it down. And again, you can't wrap it around too difficult of a piece of geometry. So that's going to be where the water slide paper works a lot better, and I'll show you that in another upcoming video. But yeah, so there's some challenges on the other side. Getting everything to lay down was a little bit more complex to put down without any little air bubbles and whatnot. But I guess at the end of the day, we got it stuck in place, and it seemed to work okay. So after a few coats of a high gloss 2-part clear, we are ready to test our design and see if it meets the satisfaction of the end user.
Okay, check out this design. Tell me what you think.
It looks really cool. I'll see it. Look at Fortnite.
Oh, you did do it. That's cool.
Still kind of wet. I gotta put it back together yet.
Oh, cool. Sick. Can I,
oh my god. Sandra.
I didn't even knock that out of his hand.
Can I play with this tonight?
Probably not.
Why not?
So I gotta put it together still?
Yeah, I mean, can you put it on the controller?
It's still pretty wet. Probably wouldn't be the best idea. I think you should just wait till Thursday.
So after passing a few different tests, the drop test seemed to work well, and he's happy with the design. We're just going to sand it down again to get rid of some of the edges on the decals. I mean, you could have just stopped there if you're okay with that, but we're going to just try and flatten it out a little bit without breaking through. But it was a pretty thick edge, and again, it'll do the job, and I'm sure you could be happy with it. But the paint guy in me says sand it down, put some more clear on, maybe even sand it down again and put more clear on, just so it flattens everything out. So this one was a bit of an experiment. We learned some things and had some fun. So I hope you guys enjoy this as much as he enjoys getting beat at Fortnite again and again and again. But yeah, we keep practicing, we keep getting better. What can I say? Thanks as always for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more, and let me know your thoughts on this guy here.